Well, at the fifth time of asking, Argyle finally got that first league win of the season at home against Blackpool on Saturday. Malachi Boateng's second half goal, enough to give Tom Cleverley his first league victory as Argyle boss, and the long wait, well, it's felt a long wait, for that first victory for all the supporters and players, etc. What a feeling Saturday was. This is Argyle Analysis. We'll be looking through the best bits from Saturday, picking out what went right, what could be worked on. But we'll also be looking ahead to Tuesday night's second round of the Carabao Cup against Swansea with a preview with the head coach Tom Cleverley as well. But for the time being, we'll be focusing purely on winning and that winning feeling. And to help me, as always, break through and look through everything that went on Saturday is Aaron Cusack. Aaron, finally, fifth time of asking.
Sigh of relief, onwards and upwards from here, Charlie. It's great to get 3 points on the board. Everyone, associated with the club would have wanted that victory. Thankfully it came, and now they can look forward with more positivity. Yeah,
absolutely. And, there'd been kind of glimpses of it, even against Leyton Orient, defensively more solid. Finally it happens, and it happened with a clean sheet as well.
Absolutely, and we've said in recent shows about having something to hold on to. So they managed to get their noses in front in the second half early, and then didn't hold on in terms of Blackpool having lots of chances, but were relatively secure at the back, allowing them to keep their clean sheet. Defenders and goalkeepers chased them in abundance, and then managing to maintain something, i.e. the lead, to get the 3 points they needed.
Yeah, should we have a look at the goal?
Sure.
Let's look over it time and time again. Here it is, Malachi Boateng.
It was early in the second half, wasn't it? I love the fact that he drove at the back line with conviction, shaped open. What a lovely finish, Charlie. Bent it towards that far post. He drove with aggression, and he just manoeuvred the ball, moved it off the line of the nearest defender, and then just bent it into that side netting. And it was a real clinical finish, and perhaps something that Cleverley may have said to the players at half-time to try and be a little bit more direct going forward. And what we've got here is just a little breakdown, because the theme we're going to try and cover is about being direct in relation to the last line. So we've got Boateng circled in the middle of the screen, and we've got this black line that represents Blackpool's last line. So we've said in previous shows, if they can look to really break with conviction on that last line, it commits defenders. And on this occasion, you can see how it committed the last line of the defence, moving the ball on the inside, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, I don't think many people would have had Malachi Boateng down as the match winner,
no,
or the goal scorer in Argyle's first victory. But as you saw there, that was a bit of a theme for Argyle, but certainly for him, who is predominantly played in that sort of deeper role in midfield.
Yeah.
But he does have the ability to actually get up there, doesn't he?
He does, and we made some points in the Orient analysis about how if he could just break lines with a little bit more urgency, he could actually be quite dangerous going forward, because he's got that ability, that physical profile to get himself up the pitch. And is true in what we've just seen there, where he rode a little bit of a tackle, but he continued, and because he had the momentum, it took him into that last line. It just opened up for him, and he did manoeuvre the ball off the line of the defender really well, and then showed great composure to steer it into the far side of the goal.
We think, and we're not totally convinced on this, but we think the first set of brothers to have scored for Argyle, obviously Hiram and Malachi, since the Rowbottoms.
Wow.
Now, there have been brothers since, Purringtons, Palfreys, Rooneys, but I don't think there was a duo of brothers scoring.
Nice.
So if we are wrong, please, I mean, I know you will let us know, but please do let us know, but we think. Anyway, right, we spoke about that last line, you mentioned it there. That was a common theme for Argyle, certainly early on in the game when they got off to another cracking start, didn't they?
They did. They seemed to be coming out of the gates really well in lots of enthusiasms. And we're going to play a particular reference to this last line. We've spoken about it previously, that the way in which players can run beyond. If players can run beyond this last line with intent, it causes disruption. And we've got, this is the opening minute. So the ball is wide to Barley Mumba. Caleb Watts is going to continue his run beyond and receive the ball on the highest line. What I also like is Mumba continues his run beyond Caleb Watts, because that will create a momentary piece of space for Boateng, who then puts the ball into the area. What I liked is that they smother the ball really quickly. We're only a minute or so into the game here. They regain the ball high at the pitch. It gets worked wide to Such, and it leads to a deflected shot for the first corner. So within the first 2 minutes, they're on the front foot. This is from that corner. So look at the black line. That represents Blackpool. If you take the keeper out the equation, that represents Blackpool's last line. Alex Mitchell's in that melee of players there. He's going to get released and aggressively run towards that last line. He should score, but it's creating an opening nonetheless. So if we maintain that emphasis on that top line, what we're going to have here, the ball is going to get worked. Talai is going to create a little bit of movement by going towards the ball to draw the central centre-back of Blackpool out. That now creates an invitation for Barley Mumba to prepare to run beyond. Now, the pass from Bradley Ibrahim has to penetrate that last line, which it does. And as a result of penetrating that last line, it invites Barley Mumba to run beyond, creates a wide opening, and an unfortunate miss by Talai just there, because the ricochet was quite quick coming back to him. But you can definitely see that when they play with verticality, and what I mean by that, Charlie, is going up the pitch with a directness and having options on that last line, you get moments that create opportunity. So we've got Talai taking the nearest centre-back out of their way, creating an opening for Barley Mumba. Because Caleb Watts has gone up onto that top line as well, it results in an effort, which on another day I'd like to keep down. And you can just see the way in which the two up top, Peppel and Talai here, creates an opening for Watts. They've occupied that last line. It means it creates an opening. On another day, does he slide Talai in? Potentially. But we can forgive him for taking a chance there.
Let's have a look at some of the other scores from League One over the weekend. Cardiff, fantastic start to the season for them. Only conceded 1 goal. Away win at Luton keeps them flying high at the top. Huddersfield got a great win over previously 100%ers Stevenage. Peterborough picking up their first point of the season like Argyle with a draw at Bradford. And then Wickham coming from behind against Reading. That's where we currently stand after 5 matches of the season. It is just good to see a couple of points on the board for sure. Will they be able to continue this momentum going forward though? This week sees us travel to Wales twice, Cardiff on Saturday. But first, it's to Championship side Swansea on Tuesday night for the second round of the Carabao Cup.